But the true freedom is in surrender. Okay, so have you ever been at the point in which I think as humans we all are, in a place that you think your thoughts are honestly speaking more than your spirit? I've had a conversation with actually my brother, and he was like, sometimes at night it's hard for me to turn off my thoughts. It's hard for me to turn it off so that I can go to sleep. And I was like, you know what? I've heard so many different people, even just being at work or when I was working in the store, people would kind of come up and ask, what can I do to help me go to sleep? And a lot of the things that we think is the cause and the reason of us not being able to sleep or whatever, it's simpler than we think. Honestly, I had to learn this for myself, and it's to just turn off your thoughts. And I know it's so much more easier than you really think. It really isn't as easy as it sounds to just turn off your thoughts, but the reality is that we can control our thoughts. We can control the things that we think. And for me, that was the first step into preventing all of this overthinking. And something that I recently learned was that it was from this video I was listening to, and the guy was like, when you get to the point where you're either overthinking or if your mind is just running, just simply say, I love myself, I like myself, and it'll kind of hone in and prevent your mind from going all over. And I'm excited to say too that this book is going to be the medicine to help you prevent and to have your soul or your spirit speak a little louder than your thoughts. So there are a couple takeaways that I want you to have from this video. Some takeaways that I took away from the book. And I'm just going to run over them, and then we'll go in detail into each one a little bit more. So there's actually 5. The first one is, you are not the voice that's in your head. The inner roommate concept. Let go or be dragged. The heart as an energy center. Death as the ultimate teacher. Now, if you're not pulled in from those takeaways, I don't really even know what to say. So let's just get into the first one. You are not the voice in your head. So there's nothing more important than the true growth and realizing that you're not your thoughts. I'm not my overly thinking about my body, my mind, my finances, what someone said to me yesterday, what someone said or did to me 10 years ago. That is not who you are. The core of this book is really going to focus on letting you know that the voice that's in your head, it's really not you. It is just something that we've learned to allow to take over our lives. It's like, just think of it as it's a car. And if you're not in control of the car, the autopilot will kick in. To prevent the car from crashing, now this is just a theoretical, I don't think that is the case at this point, but I guess if it's a self-driving car, but to prevent the car from crashing, it's going to take over. So that's what your mind does to prevent you from going crazy, to prevent nothing going on. It's going to fill it with empty things, whatever you allow it to be filled with and funneled. And then it becomes, chatter that is just going on. But we can control it. We can allow our spirit to speak louder. It's like that voice that's narrating like your every move in life. And when you actually get the thought to say, what is that? Like, what is that voice? And because we're not taught to observe and to really understand that that's not you, you continuously go on and on until you realize that it's not. So this was one of the books that allowed me to really say, hey, I'm the one that's watching my thoughts, not my thoughts themselves. And it allows me to realize that I'm not trapped within all of those things that my thoughts have me or pretends to have me trapped in. All the things that you self-doubt yourself about, all of the stories we tell ourselves. And a lot of times we don't even realize these are stories that we are absorbing from the world and the people around us, from the social media, from our friends, from something we heard someone say, something from a movie. So understand, realize that you are not the voice in your head. You are the person, or you are the consciousness that observes the voice. And today, decide, if you're brave enough, that you can change that voice too. You can change the voice. You can be the consciousness that observes the voice in your head, and you can actually change the voice. The second concept is that your mind is like a roommate, and she's a big extra. She's the roommate that gets on your nerves, right? And Singer introduces a brilliant metaphor. And he says, imagine if your voice is in your head was an actual person sitting beside you, commenting on everything, worrying nonstop, switching topics every 2 minutes. Would you trust her? Like, really, would you trust this person? But we do that. That's every day. Like, we trust that, our mind told us that we look too big in the jeans, our butt looked too fat in the jeans, our legs we didn't look good enough in the shirt, that, oh my gosh, that person doesn't like you. We trusted that voice in our head. We trusted that roommate, that best friend. And of course, I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't trust the person that's in the thoughts that run through my head sometimes. I'm like, look, come on now. Like, we've been through this, That's honestly part of this book was pretty much just reiterated how I've started to interact with myself. How I've started to tell myself, like, not today. We're not doing this today. I'm not doing this with you. And the crazy thing about it, it may seem crazy, but when I do that, it allows me to snap back into who I know I am. Because you don't need to be reminded who you are when you're that person, right? But I believe that we all go through different things. We're all pressured from all of these external things that honestly really don't matter. And you have to have a strong mindset. You have to have a strong focus, a strong identity. And if you don't have it, like, we have to work on it every day. Because the roommate that's a big extra will take over. She takes up a lot of space. So pretty much just to remind yourself that inner voice is really just a roommate, and kick her out when she's too dramatic, when she wants to take over, when she starts to talk too much and you're like, hey, you don't feel like, whatever that may be, when she overthinks, when she doubts you, kick her out. Tell her you're not welcome here. And when we start to treat that roommate like background noise and like the string quartets that's going on in the background when the ship is going down, when we start to treat the voice in that way, it gets softer and softer and softer, and then you're allowed to step into your full self. So make sure you check and put your roommate in check when it's time to be in check. So the third point, let go or be dragged. Pain is resistance, not reality. So Singer breaks down this part And I like how he did this. He said, our emotional pain doesn't come from the situation itself. It comes from our resistance to it. We cling, we replay, we resist the feeling of discomfort, right? No one wants to feel uncomfortable. And the resistance builds up like pressure in a steam pot. But the true freedom is in surrender. And I don't know if you've ever experienced that before in a situation that's really heavy, and you just decide to take it for what it is. You decide to just let it go. You decide to just surrender to the situation that's at hand, instead of allowing yourself to overthink about it, allowing yourself to wish things were different, allowing yourself to try to even force and change a situation. The true freedom is in surrender. And I just think we have conditioned ourselves to say we have to survive, and when we let go, that's not surviving, or we have to fight, I don't know, we have to go against whatever just doesn't seem right. But sometimes, and honestly, I don't think it's sometimes, I think in all times, it's just that knowing and understanding that the true freedom and the true peace is in just surrendering to whatever that is. So I think for me, what I really kind of took from this particular one that was about, like the pain is in the resistance, is that, like when you think about being dragged, like I felt like those were such descriptive words about being dragged, because when you're not letting go, when you are resisting, you're still putting yourself in this pain, this situation of being low and overthinking about it, and saying if you would have did this and did that and all of these things, it just causes more emotional pain. And I feel as though we don't talk about emotional pain and and what emotional pain does to our body enough. But it will causes all different types of feelings just because you have been rethinking, you've been resurfacing something that you can't control, something that it's happening, something that has happened, something that is apparent that it is happening. But I think one of the biggest takeaways that I got from this is that when we let go, we can finally return to peace. And I did this over a situation that I was going through, and I felt like I could breathe again. And it's so interesting how we don't even realize how things are holding on to us and how much of a weight it is on our body and our mind and our spirits until you get to a point that you just release and let go. And I believe, whatever you believe, God, universe, whatever, I believe that is what we are supposed to do. And I believe that is a part of our experience here. I believe that's a part of, it's designed for us to not carry. We are supposed to let go and release and breathe and be in peace. Okay, so the fourth part is the heart is meant to stay open, even when it hurts. And in this chapter, we pretty much learned that the heart is an emotional reckoning, and that the heart is basically the energy center. I don't know if you've ever gone through a meditation or anything where you can actually feel the energy pumping from your heart. When you think about someone you love, or think about something that is exciting, like you can feel the energy releasing from your heart. So we know that the heart is the energy system. And a lot of times when we go through things, especially like something that's close to us, we tend to close that part of ourselves off. We close the heart off. We shut it down. We protect it. And that's what I think. I really do think that we are protecting That was a lot of words. I believe that it's like a protective mechanism, right? But when we close our hearts off or shut them down or try to protect them, we are closing off the part of ourselves that experiences joy and connectivity and connection and all of the things that we're supposed to do with humans, and whether that is romantically or not romantically. So just keep that in mind. Healing, you should mean that we're keeping the heart open, even when it's not, even when it's in discomfort. So that's how you know you're being healed for sure, that you are hurt, but you are still open to love. You're still open to connecting. And I, for one, am, gosh, boy, I can tell you, I've been hurt in the past. And I went through that phase where it was, I know I was protecting myself. I was protecting my emotions. Even though that I feel as though that I am a lover at heart, I'm the type of person that gives my friends and people that are close to me like a billion chances. And it's like people run over me and run back up and run over, it's like, arrow after arrow. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe they just had a bad day. Like, that's me. But I do think those people are the people that, or the best people are the people that allow people to do that, but still open to friendship, still open to meeting people and being yourself and showing up as your full self. Because you can only grow from your experiences. And when you close yourself off, close your heart off, you're sort of like stagnating your growth. So keep that in mind the next time you're hurt by someone or the world or whatever. We learn, we grow from our experiences, but we still have to keep ourselves open to even more experiences. And in particular, like I definitely used to get shut myself down when I felt rejection or heartbreak. But one of the examples is like locking your door and hoping that love still finds you, right? Like shutting out the world, but still saying that, oh, my person's gonna find me. How can they find you when you're locked inside? And that can go for friendships and romantic, whatever. Like I believe friends eventually becomes family, and I'm sure whoever you marry will become your family. So I don't think the life is worth living in that way. So always remember to keep your heart open, even when it is discomforting. Okay, so the fifth and final point is that death is not morbid. It's the wake-up call to truly living. Oh my gosh. It's so crazy because I actually was watching a video today, and it was this guy asking, I'm going to try to find it. If I can find it, I'll actually put it in this video. But it was this guy asking, it looks like he was a monk, about, like death. I want to say he asked him what happens when you die. And he gives this analogy that when you're born, you're like water that gets thrown, like a water drop that gets thrown in the air. And, you're free, you're alone, you're, a single water drop. And when you die, you return back to like the ocean. And so, to me, in so many words, he was pretty much saying you never die. Like we're all a part of this consciousness. We're all a part. God is inside of all of us, and we're all living through this experience individually when we're here. But when we die, we just go back to the big vastness of God, where God is. Now, I've never died, so I don't know exactly. But, I mean, I don't know about you, but it resonates with me. I feel like, oh, that sounds about right. It makes sense, right? our souls and our spirits, it's an energy, like it can't be created or it can't be destroyed. That's science. That's what physics. So it can't be destroyed. So it's not like you're actually dying. Like you're gonna live forever. Your spirit lives forever. But anyways, Singer actually breaks it down is that this is where death, right? So we're gonna go back to death, not literal death, but death. That this is where the real shift happens. We live like we have forever, putting things off, staying in situations that drain us. But when we use death as a motivator, it strips the illusion. What matters rises to the top. So he asks a bold question within this chapter, which is page 126 to 128, is that if death was always beside you, how would you live differently today? What would you do differently? What would you stop waiting to do? What would you start treating right now as something that's sacred? Because in reality, it really is. And I think we take for granted every day that we have an opportunity to do something that helps better us towards our future, or honestly, that just helps fulfill us in this moment. Like just you turning on this video and taking out the time to consume something that is going to help you learn and help you grow, that in itself is taking every moment sacredly. I truly believe that. And even when I sit down to do these videos, like I learn just as much as I hope everyone else learns through this process. Because for me, at the end of the day, the day's over. But at the end of the day, it's about being someone else tomorrow, being better than I was today, being better next week, being better next year, and ultimately transforming myself to the woman that I know I want to be. And then when I get to her, even having another vision, another goal to get to. And I want that for everybody. I believe we are meant to create our lives, and whatever that may be for you, whatever little or big that may be for you. But if you are in a situation that feel like I am, or that I feel as though I am and who I am, I want to always grow like a plant, right? We want to grow. We want to produce fruit. And I believe that we can be that way, but we do have to make a choice to either grow or stagnate, to water ourselves or not water ourselves. And to me, there's no good or bad within that. But if you do choose to change and be better and to grow, I think we do that every day, little by little. Like we talked about, I want to say can't remember if I've already done that book review yet, but no, I did. About 1% every day will get you to 300% better by the end of the year. Isn't that crazy? It sounds like nothingness, but to even me, like I've been on my weight or body journey, I'm gonna say that. And a lot of times it's like you're doing different things, or you decide to be consistent with one thing. Like I started Factor, so I've been doing Factor for the last 2 months, 2 months, and it's like for a couple weeks I was like, oh, I don't see any difference, and then all of a sudden I tried on some jeans. It's like 2 months later, oh, okay, I see. I couldn't see it at the moment. I couldn't see a couple weeks in. But it's like having faith, right? Having faith is believing in something that you can't see, something you can't put your finger on. Just knowing that it's gonna happen. And that's why I truly believe faith is like one of those things that God, universe, however you look at it, it's always nudging you to get to, always nudging you to believe. A lot of different chances in our lives, even whether that's finance, whether that's our careers, relationships, it's always trying to get you to believe in yourself, believe in the process, believe in putting in the work, believe in doing something, believe in action. Because we can sit at home all day and do nothing and not be productive and still be the same way year in and year out, or doing some of the same things that you don't feel are productive and staying in the same situation. But that one day you decide, okay, I'm gonna start working on my weight, or I'm gonna start working on my finances, or I'm going to start working on dating and putting myself out there. You know, you meet someone and then you see something or you learn something, and then the momentum, and you're like, oh, okay, 2 weeks in, I lost 5 pounds. 2 weeks in, I've lost 2 inches, or whatever that may be. So don't lose hope in small steps. And the back undertone is to have death, and not in a fearful way. And I think that was one of the things, I think, for me, that I was able to, I've always, well, yeah, I guess I can always say that I've always been kind of like intrigued with things that scare me. And this, I feel like this was even before, like, it was cool to, or a thing that people said, to go after the things that scare me, because I've never wanted to feel like I was in a box. Don't mind you, I haven't gone after everything that scares me, but I've always wanted to try to put myself in uncomfortable situations, because I know that's where the growth is. That's where the supernatural stuff come in, and we're like, okay, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe, I experienced that. And if we never put ourselves in those situations, then sometimes we don't really grow up to our full potential. So allow death to be something that you realize it's gonna happen. It's in the undertone of our lives, and it's not morbid. It's really for us to take a look at our lives and say, hey, it's there. It's gonna be there. No one knows when. So today, use today as a gift. Use today as something sacred, something that you want to say, something that you want to do. I'm recording this video. If it's something that you want to experience, do it. Okay, and in closing, if you feel as though you're in the season of healing and growing and really just finding yourself, this is definitely a book that I know will give you that gentle nudge towards peace, because we all need peace. And before we go, I want you to drop in the comment what's a thought that you are finally ready to let go. For me, it is a thought that I'm not worthy of everything that I want. That is something that I'm always constantly letting go, because I feel as though a lot of times we don't go after things, we don't experience things, because in the back of your head you don't feel like you're worthy of it. So for me, that is mine. I'm ready to let go of the thought that I'm not worthy of any and everything that I want. All right, until next time, stay mindful, sunshines, and hopefully you are going to stay tuned to my next video, Think and Grow Rich, which is one of my faves. All right, have a good night.